Hey, this is William Tincup and Ryan Leary. You are listening and hopefully watching the You Should Know podcast. We got Don on from Daxtra. We'll get into that. Hey, they got a huge announcement, so we want to get into that. But before we do, Ryan, how are you doing?
I'm excited today, man. I'm ready to talk about this and this announcement and see what we got going on and share it with the world.
Isn't it crazy that the two of you and Don worked for the same company? I mean, it was a big company. So
It's a big company. Well, we were both there. He worked. I was there.
Don, do us a favor, do the audience a favor and introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, hi there. So Don Tomlinson, I'm the CTO here at Daxtra. I've been with Daxtra for about going on a year now. Prior to Daxtra, I ran talent acquisition for UKG. I also worked Talent Plus and then with Ryan back in the Connects days. So I've been in HR technology for about 25 years. So I'm really excited to join you guys today.
Connects was one of my favorite companies. I just love Rudy. I don't even really know what y'all did. Like, if someone were to say, like, what Connexa do? I'd be like,
I love the original Connexa. I didn't like
Yeah.
post-acquisition Connexa.
yeah.
So Don, I don't know if you remember yours, but I have two G5s and two. That was my serial number with IBM. And I'll never forget it. And that's the moment that I lost interest in working at a large company.
It was a different world, that's for sure.
Yeah, some people
100%.
thrive in that environment. That's their bit. They thrive there, and some people thrive in a startup and anywhere in between. Just figure out where you thrive. So, Don, we're friends and lovers of Daxtra. So, first of all, give us the headlines. What's the announcement? What's going on with y'all today?
So if you know Daxtra, we are a recruiting technology firm. We utilize AI to help streamline the talent acquisition process. For those of you who don't know Daxtra actually started off as a resume parsing business back in the early 2000s, quickly moved over to an AI search and match. And when you think about resume parsing, it's not exactly a really sexy topic until you start to think about all of the data that you're able to collect. So we probably parse over 100 million resumes a month. And so you think about how much data that it has accumulated over 20 years. And so being able to take that data and now take AI and put it on top of it to really start learning. Traditionally, Daxtra has operated in the talent acquisition space, but mostly for placement companies. What we're doing today is we're actually taking all of those tools and automation and we're bringing it forward for corporate HR. So being able to utilize and orchestrate workflows for talent acquisition from sourcing, search and match, screening, and then candidate engagement, bringing together a total solution that can help to automate that for talent acquisition teams.
Let's talk about workflows real quick, Don. So when you say workflows, let's talk to the audience a little bit about what that means for talent acquisition for recruiting.
Yeah, so think about the process from the second you post a job inside your applicant tracking system till that very first phone call and knowing who you should talk to from a candidate perspective. What the workflow is able to do is, first of all, it synchronizes every job, but it also syncs every candidate and every applicant. And I think one of the things that I saw a lot of when I was leading talent acquisition was recruiters become managers of applicants. So you manage the applicants who have applied. Meanwhile, you have hundreds of thousands of candidates who are sitting in your ATS waiting to be, rediscovered. And so during that process, what Talentflow is able to do is the second you post a job, we're going to go through every candidate and we're going to say, hey, these are the best 30 candidates, whether they've applied or not, that you should reach out to be able to match them to that job. From there, you're able to understand why were they a match, why are they important, and then we also have top of funnel screening. So we use Gen AI to be able to look at the job vacancy or job description and the resume, and we build a series of questions that we can quickly vet those candidates, and we utilize our engagement platform, so SMS, WhatsApp, phone, email, whatever that looks like, to be able to quickly have those questions answered. From there, then now we went from 100,000 candidates to 30 candidates to, hey, here's 5 candidates that you should turn into applicants, so that you can, not only are you managing just the best candidates who applied, you're actually looking at the best candidates that have ever applied or are even in your database.
Don, tell us a little bit about the matching part, because I think some people see those keyword could be semantic, etc. Like what exactly? How do you match?
Yeah, so with our matching technology, we're basically using, and it's a little bit newer, vector embeddings that are able to understand the context of what a job description is, and then look at those resumes. And then when we with that data, it's not just a skill to skill match. What we're looking at is work history. We're looking at recency. So if I was a Java developer 15 years ago, which I did a little bit of, I should not be the same as a person who comes in every day and does Java development. That person who does Java development every day, they're weighted much higher than I would be because my skills are older. And so we're looking at the recency of the skill. We're looking at the duties that you performed within the job, and we're utilizing that to match to the vacancy or the job description so that we know actually not only who has the right skills, but who has been doing those recently so that we know whether or not they're a good match or not.
So there's a lot of tools like there's a lot of matching in the world of talent acquisition, right? We've seen that. We've also seen a lot of these things just fall. They're not good, right? I've used them a ton. You use them and it's like, okay, this guy was making pizzas, certainly not a developer. What am I doing, right? What's the What's historically been the challenge? And I mean, obviously, with you guys coming out with this now, you're pretty confident this is going to hit the mark. Where has technology evolved, and how are you guys really leveraging this to make sure that we are?
Yeah, Ryan, I agree with you. I've seen the same experience, and there are so many organizations that are bringing out some really innovative technology. I mean,
Hmm?
some of the stuff they're putting out is really innovative, and then it falls down, and you start to wonder why is it falling down. And I think there's two main things that you just have to have before you even start any sort of project with AI. First of all, is you really have to know what you're going after. What is the goal that this tool is going to accomplish? And secondly, you have to have good data. And so I'll go back to what I mentioned earlier about the 100 million resumes and job vacancies per month that we're parsing today. If you don't have that good corpus of data, you're not going to see the information. And so I think what we fall into is a trap of we're just going to use AI and start solving things and figure out where it takes us. Okay, so we didn't have our defined goal. And second of all, even if we define that goal, we don't have the data to actually accomplish it. So, garbage in, garbage out. And I think those are where things fall down. And so I think that's what we're leveraging. Most organizations don't have 100 million resumes every single month that they're utilizing to refine and tune their algorithms. And that's where I think we're able to bring something to market that other companies just can't do.
Well, I also think, I mean, first of all, I absolutely agree, but I think what we've seen in the marketplace probably in the last 2 years is people that have created great algorithms, great AI, like fantastic AI, but they're not sitting on enough data.
Yeah.
So that'll be great, but it's going to take 3 to 5 years to be great. Whereas y'all are sitting on the data, as you've said, but you're also your history, your origins as a parser. You're in the business, or we're in the business of putting data in the correct buckets.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, if you didn't, you wouldn't have been a great parser. So, I mean, just the heritage of Daxtra, of being able to be, maybe we were a data company before data was truly, kind of the sexiness of data in our space right now. So I
Mm.
think it's not just that you're sitting on the 100 million and that's every year and all that, or every month and all that other stuff. It's the preciseness of your data, as you said, good data,
Mhm.
and then you put good AI on top of that, and again, you're always going to be tweaking, calibrating, and recalibrating. Like that never stops, right? So that's something that's a gift that just keeps on giving.
Yeah, and
Because
William,
yeah, go ahead.
one thing I might add on to there, the
Yeah,
other component that I think that the tool leverages that we should call out is, realize that for the last 20 years, most of our work has been in the staffing agency. And so you think about organizations that have to go out to a staffing agency. Why is that? Well, they're hard to find candidates. They're candidates that maybe turn out to be diamonds in the rough. And they're looking for some really challenging types of roles. And that's what our business supports. So it is able to understand those types of candidates that are hard to find, hard to reach, And so we're also taking that technology and bringing it in. So we're essentially taking this corpus of tools that staffing agencies are using to find these hard to reach candidates. We're bringing in and putting automation and workflow on top of it, and then bringing it back so that we're not utilizing for that one candidate that we haven't been able to find. We're actually turning it around and using that same technology to now put it on high volume hiring. So not just the diamond in the rough, nurses, welders, bus drivers, all of these, hospitality and retail, utilizing the same technology now to automate and create efficiencies in that process.
And I'm chomping at the bit here, Don, because so many years people have always said to me, staffing's so different than corporate recruit. And I get it. I understand the difference and the nuances and all that. But from a tech perspective, why can't they share? Why can't corporate use staffing tech and staffing tech use corp? Maybe with tweaks, right? Like you said, the workflow tweak and things like that. But when you said that, I got excited. I'm like, yes, amen. So many technologies that are out there, they only do staffing or they only do corporate. I just don't subscribe that they can't cross over. I know, William, I think you might actually differ on that.
No, I mean, the thing is, I've not seen technologies that have been able to play
Yeah.
in both worlds, but that's usually at the ATS level.
Yeah.
That's different technology because the ATS, like Bullhorn and ATS for like we grew up with, like
Right.
those things
Brass
are
ring.
they're price. I was about to say it. I was about to say it, but they're different. They're actually tuned differently. But yeah, I don't think the job is different. You still got to find a
Yeah.
candidate. You still got to communicate with the candidate. You still got to
Yeah.
qualify and assess and do all that stuff, and then put them in front of a hiring manager. Whether or not you're doing that one remove, two remove, or whatever, it doesn't really make a difference. It's still, if not the same job, a very similar job. Don, we've talked a little bit about AI, but AI comes in a couple different forms these days, right? So Gen AI and agentic AI. What are y'all doing at Daxtra? What are y'all doing to kind of leverage those technologies?
Yeah. So from a Gen AI standpoint, a couple of examples. So first of all is candidate summaries and match summaries. So if I say that Ryan is a 9.6 out of 10 match, and
Probably a 9.9, but we're good.
William, you're at 9.2.
Yeah,
What
that
does
sounds
that mean? What is
yeah.
the point, for difference there? And so being able to utilize Gen AI to actually show exactly why those scores are the way they are, being able to quickly read the summarization. So we create those summaries through Gen AI. The screening questions. So we can do screening questions two different ways. We can look at either the job description and create 5 to 7 questions, or we can look at the delta between the resume and the job description, which means every candidate's going to get a unique set of questions based on what they have and where those gaps are at. And so those are some of the examples of where we're using Gen AI. And then agentic AI, really starting to orchestrate workflows. So being able to move individuals from one phase to the next phase, being able to automatically send messages out to candidates, being able to perform tasks for both recruiters and hiring managers. So utilizing AI for some of the analytics components, but then Gen AI to kind of bring the features more to life. And then agentic AI will really come on top of that to really help recruiters become more efficient.
For companies that, or for people that are listening, I should say, we have a wide audience, Don, but for those that are listening, who needs to know about this? Which company sizes are viable for Daxtra to be a solution for them?
Yeah, so for us, we are looking at more high volume roles, but the biggest thing is, are you getting a lot of candidates or applicants for your jobs and you need to figure out how to bring those down?
Yeah.
Or do you have a problem with rediscovery? Do you have a problem with you have all of these candidates sitting in your database? You have talent there, you just don't know how to bring it forward. Either of those instances are a reason why you would want to know about this workflow automation. Being able to post a job and within minutes we've looked through your whole database and said these are the 30 people you need to go talk to. You don't even have to post the job. We can have that data ready for you. Or the other side of that, I just posted a job. I have 750 applicants. I don't have time to read all of these. Help me prioritize. Help me whittle that down from 750 to 10. And so those are the types of organizations that would want to utilize this new platform.
So there's a conference going on this week, and Ryan and I have an over under on how many times people say tech stack or HR tech stack. It's about 1,000.
Yeah.
So I got to ask you, because I want to do the over. Where do y'all fit? Like where should people think of you? Because resume parsing, your origin, that's pretty easy to figure out where that fits in the stack. Now you've done some acquisitions, you've built some new technology, etc. So now where should people think of you in that take our
Yeah, so we're not an ATS. We don't want to be an ATS. It's not our goal. What we want to do is augment the functionality of the ATS to help recruiters be more efficient. So we have an automated sync of jobs, candidates, applicants. We send any of the engagement, think of the SMS messages or WhatsApp messages, back into the notes field of the ATS. So we essentially help your recruiters be better by bringing functionality in that typically might not be in the ATS, or ATSs are trying to solve different problems. We're trying to solve the problem. I have too many candidates. I don't have enough time. Help me make this a more efficient process. But again, augmenting the ATS, we are not trying to be the ATS.
the intel inside?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. What I love about that is it's basically they've made as an organization, they've made the spend, they've made the purchase, they're using it, they've got a contract. So the ATS is there, and it's just you're making that spend, that investment, so to speak, you're making that investment reap better rewards.
Yeah, and you think about sometimes this is where, I feel bad for talent acquisition leaders. A lot of times they just get handed the applicant tracking system because it was
100%.
part of a larger sale. And so you bought UKG, you get their recruiting system. You bought Workday, you get their recruiting system. You bought Oracle, you get Taleo. So these
Right.
are the types, and so then it's like, okay, now how do I make this better? And so that's where our solution comes in. You're going to use the ATS you're using, and you're stuck with it. We're going to make that process better by automating a lot of the workflow that typically ATSs can't do.
What I heard right there is suck less.
Yeah, basically. Which kind of like my final question down here is so for the sorry sap and TA who's stuck with all this, right? They're handed down, a
Usually
legacy
by the
system.
CFO, but yeah,
Yeah,
go
yeah,
ahead.
exactly. Yeah.
Not blaming anyone.
Yeah.
What's that trigger point for them to say, all right, I need help, right? Like they know they need help, but usually what is that trigger point where it says, okay, Daxtra makes sense. Let's go take a look at you guys.
Yeah, I think for TA leaders, it's your recruiters don't have enough time in their day to do their job. And rather than trying to hire two, three, four more recruiters, make one technology buy that will make all of those recruiters more efficient, that they don't need to keep adding more and more recruiters. If you're in a situation where you just have more work and you can't do it, this is definitely a way that you can make those recruiters what do you want them focused on? You want them focused on building relationships, right? So if your recruiters are doing anything but focus on relationships, if they're having to slog through applicants every day, that's the trigger point. That's when you would want to reach out to Daxtra.
Last thing for me, Don, is let's go back through the headline again so that people that maybe missed the first part of the show. What's the announcement from Daxtra today?
Yep. So we are releasing our newest product, Talent Flow. Talent Flow is geared towards corporate HR organizations that are ready to bring efficiencies into the recruitment process, all built around sourcing candidates, matching and ranking, engaging and screening, and bringing all of that into a single workflow automation.
Drops mic, walks off stage. Don, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate you and great announcement. Great technology. Thank you for coming on the show.
Right.